DHT cream for penile enlargement is all the rage these days. A lot of people are buying DHT cream, applying it directly on the penis to see if they can grow it. Now, obviously, that DHT can go systemic into your circulation and increase DHT levels in the body. And some people might be concerned that might it enlarge the prostate and cause prostate problems. So in this video, I'm going to show you what happens when you do like a TRT protocol, but with a DHT. So what would happen if you have sky high levels of DHT? What happens to the prostate? I'm going to show you 3 studies where they do exactly this. So before we dive into the video, if you have not already, be sure to get my masterclass on how to double your testosterone naturally. Also, if you would like to do coaching with me, links are in the description below. Let's dive in. All right, so this is the first study. They gave these guys 140 milligrams daily for 3 months, DHT. And DHT went up to about 15 and then eventually up to 20 nanomole per liter, which is quite high. You can see testosterone dropped a lot. Free testosterone dropped a lot, LH dropped a lot, FSH dropped, sex-binding globulin dropped. And then estradiol, interestingly, remained more or less the same. So that's quite interesting. Body weight increased a little bit and then started to decrease. Lean mass increased the most in the DHT group and fat mass decreased the most in the DHT group. So this is why body weight went down, is because these guys were losing a good amount of fat on DHT. And if you look at the prostate volume in milliliter over 3 months, so we have the DHT, bam, more or less the same, placebo, bam, more or less the same. No difference in prostate size of using 140 milligrams of DHT on a daily basis for 3 months. Study number 2, they did it for 6 months. They used between 125 to 250 milligrams per day of DHT. PSA didn't change, and also prostate weight in grams didn't change. So this was before, and this is the DHT, and this is after. So you can see that prostate weight increased slightly in the DHT group and in the placebo group. So the increase was not due to DHT, just general life. It's just something that happened in these individuals. There's no real difference between the DHT group and the placebo group. Study number 3, they used 70 milligrams of DHT per day for 2 years. Again, PSA didn't change. And here you can see DHT went up to 25 nanomole per liter. Testosterone levels dropped to below 5. Estradiol dropped to below 20 here, and LH also dropped, but it wasn't complete suppression. It was still above 1, right? So it's still some LH signaling, interestingly. Prostate size wasn't influenced by DHT. Both the DHT and the placebo group had an equal increase in prostate size measured in milliliter. No change. 3 studies showing the same thing. No increase in PSA or prostate volume by using large doses of DHT for a long period of time. So welcome to Nuance Corner. Here are the nuances. More than 80%, so when they use the 5-alpha reductase inhibitor to lower DHT for prostate problems, you get more than an 80% decline in DHT in prostate tissue by 5-alpha reductase inhibition, and it only shrinks the prostate by 18%. 80% decrease in DHT, 18% shrinkage in prostate size. Then you have an aromatase inhibitor, a short-term study with an aromatase inhibitor in men with benign prostate hyperplasia has reported a 26% reduction in mean prostate size. So the aromatase inhibitor that they used was testolactone, is the first steroidal enzyme inhibitor used for BPH. At the dose of 200 milligrams a day in 6 months, it decreased prostate size by 15 to 26% with a clinical improvement on 15% of the cases, or 50% of the cases. By lowering estrogen, you get a significant bigger reduction in prostate size than you do from inhibiting DHT. Right, so as long as estrogen is going down with DHT therapy, you will not get an increase in prostate size. So this is the final slide I want to show you. This is the DHT estrogen nuance. So when they used DHT, and DHT increased over 8.5 nanomole per liter, which obviously these studies, they got over like 20 to 25 nanomole per liter. Testosterone goes lower than 5 nanomole, and there's a 50% reduction in estrogen. You get a reduction in prostate size. But if DHT does not go over 8.5, testosterone stays over 7, and there's no reduction in estradiol, you might see an increase in prostate size. When you use DHT, it's unlikely to get an increase in prostate size
If you do, it's most likely because you also have elevated levels of estrogen. And estrogen promotes water retention and also cancer growth. So as long as estrogen is being controlled, the DHT shouldn't be a problem. But the good thing is DHT actually is also anti-estrogenic. So just make sure your DHT goes high enough to suppress those estrogen levels. With that being said, now you can go forth and apply DHT cream to the penis without worrying about prostate problems. But always check. You don't want to do things without doing sufficient testing, otherwise you might run into problems in the long term. Alright guys, I hope this was insightful and I will check you in the next one. Cheers guys.